Okay, and we're up. Welcome to a Dee And A Don, Paddy.
Hey guys, Pat, I'm the D.
I'm Dave. I'm the Don supporter, and I just felt it was about time that I welcome you to the middle of the table after a few years in the sunlight.
Yes,
Waited a long time. Got to see your team win a grand final in Perth
it felt good. It
while
felt
while lockdown.
that's right. Felt good on the TV. Would have felt better at the MCG, but we can't live and die by that. So
And now it feels like it's all crumbling.
not quite crumbling, Dave. I think that's a bit pessimistic. But look, let's talk about the reaction of to this week's games that have occurred. Let's probably start with the Bombers.
Well, started on the Thursday night. Gotta love the Thursday night footy. And
Yeah.
by the way, nice little bookends tonight. The Q Clash is actually going to be amazing. Gold Coast and Brisbane, and we'll talk about that later. But yeah, started with very familiar kind of win. That's twice in 3 weeks that the rooms just look like some sort of a morgue. You win, but Draper goes down against West Coast, and you thought you were going to win by 5 goals, and you scrape out a 3 point win
Well,
after Waterman kicks 4 goals in the first quarter. And then North, it was different. We played really good footy for about a quarter. And then we kicked a goal in the second quarter, a goal in the third quarter, and a goal in the fourth quarter. We were basically trying to lock that win away from about halfway through the third quarter.
Yeah, let's be honest, it was a scrappy affair, and it wasn't huge, great viewing.
No.
Exactly, I wouldn't put it down to the all-time classics.
Well, apparently Jones's ankle isn't as bad as it looked, but it looked really bad.
Yeah,
Ridley out
yeah,
with another soft tissue injury just kills you. Like he's so important to our back line,
yeah,
and for about the third year in a row, we're going
yeah,
to miss him for about 4 or 5 weeks, and that's
yeah.
usually when things go completely off the rails. So looking forward to that. But look, we'll take the win. We're 4-3. It's probably makes us look a little better than we are, but
True, true. But Merritt, let's talk about Merritt.
that's
Matt
really
Peck's
all you can
standout,
talk about.
right? He's a real gun, that guy. The ability to actually just rove the packs, read the ball, his precision in kicking, unbelievable.
This time every year, I've got him as like definitely All Australian,
Mm,
perhaps All Australian captain.
yeah.
Then once Ridley goes out and the wheels fall off,
Oh,
it's hard to look like one of the best players in the comp. But at the moment, if he's not up there with Dacos and Bontempelli, he'd be
yeah.
pretty close.
No, agreed. Absolutely agreed. He's definitely one of the. I'd say they're one of the top three players in the league right now. Also, I guess Perkins finally converted. Finally kicked 3 goals.
Perkins and Reid, like
Uh,
as Meatloaf said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. If Perkins and Reid, particularly Reid,
yeah,
can be as good as they're looking now,
yeah,
and guys like Archie Roberts,
yeah,
there's a few little, dare I say it, green shoots coming through.
yeah,
There's some hope,
yeah.
but not against the top
No,
teams. Not yet.
yeah, let's call a spade a spade. And
We're
so,
building, mate.
so rebuilding.
No, we're not rebuilding, but a lot of our rebuild is going to, well, okay, then I guess we are, is going to be dependent on how badly you guys do this year because huge reason for this podcast. We have your number one pick.
Easy now.
So
Easy now.
crash and burn, baby.
I will call out Setterfield as well. Setterfield was, he's starting to show a bit.
Mate, when we're good, the Setterfields and the Greshams will be long gone. Thank
Gresham
you.
show, yeah.
Look, he
Thank you
got
and good
injured.
night.
Yeah, exactly. I want the green shirts, mate.
Okay,
Not the 29-year-old rejects from 3 other clubs.
fair enough. Well, let's turn our attention to the D's match as well last night.
Sure, everyone was watching that.
I was, and admittedly, it was pretty ugly for the first half for us. Once again, a familiar situation. Gorn, it was the Gorn show. His tap work, his ability to sort of, get Petrarca, Viney, all the usual suspects involved in the centre. But again, real issues about connecting with the forward line, right? We've got the situation where Fritzy Boy and you've got Petty. They're all sort of leading in the same
Is
lane.
Pendleton still playing? Or
He's
is
still
he?
playing.
No, I mean
No,
he's
he's
in
in the
there
he's in
with
the
Red.
which
Are you
which
Shun with him?
no way, no,
So
no.
you've got he and who? Turner or Fritsch is
We've got
your forward line for the future?
Look, I've got Turner.
Yeah.
Look, Fritz, he's a very good player, but look, he can be a tad selfish. And I'm using the S word. I don't like using the S word, but there have been quite a few recent times where he's gone for the long bomb and there's been one of our players out going towards the goals, right? You've got to bring your players into the game. If you don't bring your players into the game, it's because the best, teams actually win because, they bring the team in, right? And when the D's do that, and which they did in that second half, they started to, lower the eyes, started to look for those short kicks.
Let's be honest. Without Cozzy, your whole forward line's just a disaster, right? And there's really nothing. When Cozzy
That's
was
harsh.
injured, I was
Dave.
licking my lips, mate. That draft pick was I was thinking top three.
Yeah. That's harsh, Dave. That's very harsh.
Well, I have to be. Look, you know, you know me. I always barrack for you, and I'm happy to see you
Yeah,
do it. Not
yeah,
this year.
yeah. Fair enough, fair enough. But look, overall, we picked the game up. We won by 30 odd points at the end. Happy with the result as a D. 3 in a row. Look, I'm not talking finals, but I'm
I hope
but
you're
I'm
not
but I'm
talking.
but I'm not talking last either. So let's go.
Okay.
Okay, where's our season going for both? The
Okay. Well,
D's
you've
and
just
the Dons.
beaten what the worst team since Fitzroy. Is that what I just listened to 5 minutes of?
Yeah, yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So I guess what I want to know is when I look at
What do you
you, I'm
want, Dave?
thinking rebuild, right? 2 years time from now, Maxi's gone, right? Best ruckman probably I've ever seen in my life.
Once in a generational player. Let's be honest.
I mean, Simon Madden was a long time ago, but
Yeah,
I just watched Max and I'm like,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
carrying. There's about 17 blokes he's carrying. Uh,
Up like Mount Everest. Do
you
you
just
reckon they're just
wonder
sticking
how
it
long
on
he can
top of
do
his
it. They
back?
tried to bring in, oh, here, have some support, have Jackson, have Grundy. Max just went, no, load it on, mate. I'll take it off. But surely in 2 years, Max is gone.
Yeah.
Oliver missed last night's game due to
Personal
personal
issues.
well-being,
Yes.
and Petrarca wanted to leave last year and
Yeah.
has looked at times this season
No.
extremely unhappy with being there.
I agree. He's been a little unhappy at the start. Now he's got his Dolmio grin with his
Is his brand all right? His
branded,
brand's back in there.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely,
Look,
with his
here's my question.
unbelievable recipes. My son actually follows Petrarca, by the way, on social media in terms of his cooking. Incredible. So he's got his cooking back, and by the way, he's cooking in the
Oh, okay.
midfield. Right?
Nice metaphor. Okay. So 2 years from now, are Oliver and Petrarca still at Melbourne?
I think Oliver's going to struggle.
Oh,
Petrarca will be at Melbourne.
okay.
Yep, you've got my solemn word. Okay,
You
as a hey,
No, I just wonder whether Neil Bullen and Harms just went, I see where this is heading. Thanks for the premiership medal.
hey, Neil Bullen's a family man. He had to go to Adelaide to support the family. Yeah, yeah. But okay, so life without Gorn, Petrarca, and Oliver. I think Neil, as I said, Neil Bullen was important. He brings that forward pressure. He's got a good strong kick. Yeah, but I guess the question is, what player would actually most break your heart, right? To see in another jumper.
So easy. Sam Durham.
Yeah,
Caldwell too, but I've seen him in another jumper already. I
yeah,
just think we found gold with Caldwell.
yeah.
But yeah, Durham for some reason, when I have a nightmare, it's Sam Durham in a Carlton jumper.
Yeah,
That would just
that's
make me
yeah,
sick.
exactly. That's a
Don't want to lose him.
no, I
What
can
about
see
you?
that. Oh, Petrarca for sure.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he's a bull and he's unbelievable. He's like the Dangerfield, right, of Geelong. The ability to actually get the ball out of the centre, find players. He just goes so hard at it. He's got that element of class. Unbelievable kick on left and right handball as well.
Yeah.
Brings players in, passionate. Love him.
I mean, usually he would be in that conversation we were having before about best player. This season, not quite as much.
I can see it happening though.
Yeah.
I can see
Is he going?
he's had still a very good year so far.
When you guys played us, he was looking a bit selfish. Like Oliver was giving him a mouthful, but Oliver was giving everyone a mouthful.
Yeah.
There were a lot of times where instead of sort of bringing other
Exactly.
players into it, like what you were
Got to
talking
bring
about
them in.
before, he
Absolutely.
was kind of, oh, I'll do this all myself.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
Seems like playing against some easy beats is brought in. What have you guys had? You,
Exactly.
you had Richmond, North,
Yeah, we had the
and West.
Dockers. The Dockers have
Oh, yeah,
probably been the
that's
best
your win of the
win.
year.
Yeah.
Did not see that coming.
No, no, absolutely.
Now 8 losses in a row coming, and I'll
We'll
be sitting here every week.
see about that, Dave. We'll see about that. So who's your best? I want to sort of change tact here now. Who's your best players under 25, right?
The
For the
talent,
Dons, so
the
the
future.
talent, the future, the rebuild.
When you check the ages of the Essendon players, we've actually got some guys who've played close to 100 games under 25.
Yeah.
Nick Martin, Durham,
Mm-hmm.
Caldwell, Dersma, a lot of those guys who pretty much booked their spot for the next foreseeable future. They're pretty good, and
Dersma? What do you think of Dersma? Because
he's a
I've
winger.
been, I know he's a winger. You tell me his position, but
Okay,
what
what
about
I'm
the
telling
player?
you is, before he arrived, the two guys we played on the wing. Are we
Yeah,
still filming?
I think we are.
So you do or you don't? We are?
Yep.
Okay. So before we brought Dersma in, on one wing we had Nick Cox, and on the other wing we had Harrison Jones.
Yeah.
I don't know what Brad Scott was thinking, because especially when we played you guys last year and Windsor and Langdon just ran off them all day and just sliced us up. And I was like, all right, well, that's the end of that
Yeah.
experiment.
Yeah.
Not so much. But as soon as we got Dersma, we went, all right, well, we've got one wing. Durham used to be on the other wing, but basically we've only got three midfielders at the moment. As when Merritt, Caldwell, and Dersma are in
Yeah.
there,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're good. Start of this year, there were probably Hobbs and Sardis were fighting for their careers. They had to have a good season. I think Sardis is done.
Really?
If the only thing you can do is bend over, pick up the ball and handball it to someone, it's not enough.
No.
And I don't care whether he's a top five pick or anything. It's just you can't play him on a wing. You got to play him in the middle. And every time we play him in the middle, so we're trying to find people this year who can play in the middle. The Mason Redman in the centre experiment lasted less than a half, and we just got slaughtered in the first quarter against Hawthorn. They were licking their lips. So now you go, all right, well, who? Hobbs, maybe. And I just love Archie Roberts, 19-year-old kid,
Yeah.
like on the wing. And
I was
that
going to say Archie Roberts.
Kako around the ground. If he builds a tank, put him through the midfield. And when we get a top three pick from you, that'd be nice as well.
You're still dreaming on that top three.
Mate, that's,
It's
that's
getting a
gotta be
little
constant.
bit. No, it's getting a little bit shaky. Let's be
I've
honest.
got a lot of eggs in that basket.
I
I've
know
got
you
to tell you.
have.
I've already,
I know.
mate, Dersma. I want another Dersma.
I
So
know.
Dersma on a wing is good, and if Archie Roberts is on the other wing, and you've got Merritt, Caldwell, when Caldwell comes back, I think next week, then our midfield start to look good. Could we do with some depth? Oh God, yeah. But I don't. I think the Perkins experiment in the middle is over, and we've realised, you know what? He's different body shape, but he's sort of, and hopefully better culturally, but he's kind of the next stringer. So
That's a big call.
if we've got a forward line in 3 years' time that's got Caddy surrounded by Nick Martin, Perkins, Kako, and a couple of academy guys who are supposed to be good small forwards we're bringing in next year, and I know haven't even seen them. That I think could look really good. So for me, this year's about
Yeah.
who can play where.
Yeah.
I wish Sardal Hurley, who looked amazing for 5 minutes against in one of our big wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Against someone no good, I can't remember.
Okay.
Give him a whole game.
Yeah.
Stop, don't make him the sub like 17 times this year or something, because that just stuffs up careers. I'm pretty sure that's what happened to Sardis.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm happy with the kids. And there's a couple more in the reserve.
Something to build.
Now that we've lost some players, I want to see Lewis Hayes, a 20-year-old fullback, come in.
Yep.
I want to see a guy in his first year called Zach Johnson, who everyone's raving about. Apparently, he doesn't run defensively much, but if he could be another wing midfield option, I'd be pretty happy with that.
Okay.
Dylan Clark, just guys from the last couple
Yeah,
of years.
yeah.
I haven't seen them, but let's not bring back Laverty and Guelphy's coming back from you. You know what those guys can do. Let's find some talent.
Yeah. No, agreed.
How's
And
your list looking?
look, no, I'm quite bullish about our list, to be honest. We've got. I'm calling out Pickett, obviously. He's only 23,
Yeah.
right? 23. He's an absolute
He's a gun.
gun,
Yes.
right? He can play midfield. He can play in the forward line. I think one thing he could actually add to his incredible repertoire is actually his ability to lead out fast, right? Be able to double back and do, because I see him leading out to the pockets now. I see him leading, just the ability to double around, not just do one lead out, but sort of get around. He's so fast. He's so fast off, like, such a short, run that he's leaving his player for dust, and he should be able to. I can see him kicking 50, 60 goals, in a season. So definitely pick it for me. I'm loving what Rivers is also doing for me as well, right? He's played back. He's now in the wing. He's very versatile, right?
Is he getting much of a run in the midfield?
Well, he was getting a bit of a run in the midfield,
What I was
but
hearing was when he and Windsor actually got in the midfield,
yeah,
they were not good.
yeah,
That their
yeah,
body positioning, that
yeah,
they just let people run through clearances and all that sort of
yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
which is disappointing because last year I thought those
yeah.
two were going to be out
Look,
there.
look. When you've got Petrarca and Viney,
Yeah.
especially, and I'm taking away Oliver at the moment, but when you've got them, you're like in the midfield, I see Rivers more of an outside player. He's
Winger.
fast, a winger.
Yep.
He's fast, and he's got a big kick on him. Look, he can kick goals. He hasn't kicked that many goals this year, but his ability to be able to swing on the wing as well as being able to be in the defence and run off the half back is very impressive. And look, again, he's only 23. He's obviously a premiership player, so very happy with him. McVee, I'm also very happy with. He's really surprised me. He's definitely come in, filled a role into the back line. Very happy with him. Only 21. And then you look at Windsor, who is fast, takes the ball around the flanks. There's certainly a lot of upside. Bowie still, and Langford as well. Langford's 19, so
So
it's exciting.
last year's draft, you got Langford, and who was the other top 10 draft pick? Xavier Lindsay.
Xavier Lindsay was
Has he
there.
played much?
Look, he is. He's playing now. He's just come off an injury.
What is he, a halfback flanker or a midfielder?
Still trying to work that out. It's hard to work out where he's playing at the moment. He seems to be playing in the back, but he's. I know that Goody really rates him highly, and let's just see. But in terms of exciting plays at the moment, I'm very bullish, and I can see there's a lot of upside.
I actually thought you guys went for two midfielders last year to get ready for Oliver and Petrarca heading out. A bit of an insurance policy.
There might have been a bit of an insurance policy, Dave, but
That was
we'll
that was a
see.
big trade that
Yeah,
involved our
yeah,
two clubs. We
yeah,
were worried that St Kilda were going to grab
yeah,
Kako
yeah,
or our number nine pick,
yeah,
and then we were going to be left with just Kako out of the draft. So
yeah,
we traded you, and everyone thought we were crazy.
yeah.
And now here I am, licking my lips,
Licking your chops.
waiting for you guys to crash and
Okay.
burn.
So who's having the career best years for you in terms of career best year for the Dons?
Well, obviously Kako because it's his
Yeah.
first year. Friend of ours, and I have a big argument about him because our friend Ferg wants to see him hit goals. He does everything else.
He's assisting really
He
well.
does everything
Yeah,
else.
I agree.
And he's setting things up. Well, he absolutely
Yeah,
burned
yeah,
Merritt on
yeah,
Thursday
yeah,
night. Merritt
yeah.
was running into an open
Yeah,
goal, and Kako like tried to kick it from 60 or something. I actually was hoping that Zach would give him a bit more of
yeah.
a spray,
Right.
but
Agreed.
that seems well out of character.
Yeah, yeah,
So loving, and Caddy's having a career best year because
yeah.
I mean, he still runs around like a baby giraffe that can play amazing football, but everything's like nearly. What the hell was? Oh, that's nearly a
Nearly
great
there.
mark,
Yeah,
nearly a great
nearly there.
goal,
Yeah,
and he
nearly
just
Caddy.
throws himself into
Yeah,
packs and nearly gets knocked out.
yeah, yeah.
He's fun to watch once it all
I
clicks.
love the baby giraffe, but that's Ripper.
Well, that's why
Like
I'm
I said,
asking you about Van Ruin because you've been waiting
yeah,
for that
yeah,
guy to
yeah,
develop for what 4 years or something. I look at Caddy and I'm like, "Well, that's gonna
yeah,
happen."
yeah,
Van Ruin, I don't see it.
yeah.
I never see it.
Yeah,
I've
he's
given
having
that
a
guy
he's
all the last, all the
uh,
time. It's just sometimes you got to
yeah.
go.
Yeah. I mean, I think at the moment, Van Rooyen, he just seems like he's playing a bit one-dimensional at the moment. If he's either takes a mark or doesn't take a mark, and more often he hasn't been taking marks, but he hasn't got the follow-up that, some of these other players have got, some of these tall players have got. I mean,
Pat-
I'd say Gawn, yes, but I'm talking about other tall players,
You're
even
talking.
like Petty.
Paddy's
Yeah,
keeping him out of the team.
yeah,
If
Petty.
Paddy's keeping you out of the team,
He's concussed. Petty's concussed.
what
Yeah.
last night?
Let's see.
So
Let's see how we go.
Ruin gets the call up again.
Let's just say, well, yeah. Anyway, for me, for the D's, if you don't mind me taking my one, Gorn, obviously, he's having a career best season.
Hmm.
Is he going to be, you know, the Brownlow medal favourite pretty soon? Geez, he's got to be up there. He's three best on grounds for sure, right? That's 9 votes. Yeah,
Been Nick Dacos this
yeah.
season so far.
Keep away from the the Dacos thing, right? Let's keep going. Um, I think, as I said, Rivers, he's been playing very well for us, I think, and Salem as well. I mean, I've gone through these games. That guy is so pivotal to Melbourne when he's actually fit, right? Like last year, interrupted season, he had a lot of injuries, and he's finally getting a run at it, and it's so important to get that ball out of the back, out of the
He's a
back.
good user. He's not quick, but he's a very good
He's a
user.
very good user. Brighton grammar guy too,
The
wasn't he?
GSL boy.
Yeah, yeah. So he came around the same time that Jack Watts did too, didn't he? Right? And
Is he going that far?
yeah, going that far back. Now, if you asked me who'd ever be the best of the lot, would I have said Salem? Not really, but now, absolutely. He's matured. Big fan of his. Dave, I've got to ask you a question. Who are the players your coaches love that you wish they would actually drop?
It's kind of a bad weekend to talk about it because a couple of them got like crunched
Oh,
with
you love
injury,
your
and I
Harry
wish
Jones,
them, yeah. It's a bad
Is it,
weekend to
is,
introduce the fact that my son and I affectionately refer to him as Spud.
he's a good-looking spud, though, isn't he? He seems to
And
great.
marking it,
He's a
sometimes
very
his kicking
attractive
style.
player,
I know,
but doesn't get enough of the ball.
it's the same as Nick Cox. Although Nick Cox is no good looker. But what I'm talking about is if you're over 195
Yeah,
centimeters and you can't play key position,
yeah,
I don't know what to do with you,
yeah,
right? So, I mean, is he a half forward flanker? Can you really squeeze another 195 centimetre guy in there when you've got Langford running around
yeah.
like, he's in quicksand? I wouldn't say
Why is he in quicksand?
because he's slow, mate. And Peter Wright, like, you just can't have a forward line with 3 guys who, as soon as the ball hits the ground, they go, "Oh, catch you later. I'll just be in the goal square waiting for you to put my face." Can't do that. Right? So that's why if you were playing him on the wing to develop those skills and all that, I see where you're coming from, but it can't be the wing. Half forward, I think he's too tall. Half back, we've got Ridley and all those sorts of guys.
Yeah,
So I don't know what to do with Harry Jones,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I think what happened to his ankle is a tragedy, but it's the only way anyone else was going to get a go. Yeah, I think
He's a favourite.
he's either got
Teacher's
photos
pet,
of
isn't
Brad
he?
Scott or okay, I'm just saying like he's clearly a favourite. Gresham is, know what Gresham is.
Yeah,
St Kilda were getting rid of
yeah,
their guys
yeah,
who aren't getting any better, and we said we'll take that.
yeah.
But I mean, we've got enough
I
dud small forwards.
understand.
And then I do hope I don't see much of Laverty ever again.
Why is
Um,
that?
50-metre penalties, free
Okay.
kicks, arguing with everyone.
Convention.
Turnovers,
Yeah,
can't kick, straight for goal. I mean, he was a forward when he came in.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so we've actually replaced him with a younger, slightly less prone to giving away, like less prone to make you yell at the television. That's Jackson Pryor, who we got from Brisbane.
Yeah.
Couldn't get a game in the Brisbane back line. And he's a left footer and he can kick
Yeah.
nicely, but it's your, what do they call it? The packing the stuff that goes in the box. He's the packing.
Packing boy.
Yeah, no, I've missed my metaphor there. But I mean, he'll be okay. Everyone else in the back line, like I really like. If Lewis Hayes and some of these guys can come in and take a spot, we've actually like Zach Reed is the Christmas present we've waited 3 years for.
He's a good player, that Zach Reed.
Well, you just got to get 50 games in a row without any injuries, and that's he came in and he could have blown away in strong wind, and then so they bulked him up, and his legs went. Well, I'm not used to carrying that kind of weight, and so after 3 years,
Hamstrings.
Yeah, I think round one last year, he looked good for a half and then gone for the rest of the year. It was all sort of, and back and all those sorts of, you just load 20 kilos onto these kids and go, oh, you're right, now run around. And now it looks like it works now. So if it's he and Mackay for a couple of years and then he and Hayes, if Hayes works out, again, it's starting to look good. Andy McGrath gets a game, Ridley gets a game, Redmond gets a game. That's starting to me to look like a good backline. If you can get some run with some guys like El Hoy, and we can, seems like add some depth in midfield, forward line, like I said, could be good in the future. So, I want, at the risk of saying it again, I want to see the kids this year. I don't want to rehash all the 29-year-olds who played 150 games.
Fair enough. Well, for me, the coaches that, I guess the coaches love that I wish I'd dropped. Well, actually, funny enough, they've actually dropped them quite recently. So I'm talking about Billings as well. Look, Jack Billings, he came in, obviously, from St Kilda. I really had high hopes for him, but he just has made just some terrible mistakes. He doesn't seem to be on the defensive side. He's not very good in terms of, being able to pressure. And, a lot of his players seem to get off the chain. And I know he's been in and out. He does really well at VFL level, but not for me. Fritz.
So, just to finish on Billings, because he was like a top 3 draft pick or something.
Yeah.
Beautiful kick. Yeah. Can kick a goal. Can't do anything else.
Well, but also he's missed some crucial goals. As well. Even last year, as a small forward, you've got to kick. Exactly. Look, I hope he gets back, but he has been dropped. Bailey Laurie, I think he's been a bit disappointing as well. He's been
never heard
in and out.
What are we talking about?
He's fast. He's actually one of our fastest players, right?
He's a young
absolutely.
Kid?
Yeah, he's young.
Right.
He's been in and out again. He's not in there at the moment. Again, he's not there, right? So I guess Goody is making some good moves in terms of, giving the likes of Lindsay and, all these others, more time in the seniors and sort of keeping them out. And that's actually keeping them out. Also dropping Fritz, it was the right time. Actually, I think it could have been a game or two before. Fritz, as I said, he's a confidence player, but he's got to bring more players into the game. And I saw him even sitting in the stands against Richmond. He was, we'd won the game, but, our player was streaming in and he tried to kick a goal from 50 when he could have just easily passed it. That's the sort of, I want to see more of Fritz. It's about bringing the team in. Great to kick goals, but you've got to you've got to set other players up and you've got to lower the eyes.
When you guys started the season, you had that really respectable loss in the opening in round one. Who was that? What was that?
GWS.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking.
That's when I thought, actually, Melbourne are going to be pretty good this year. And then it all fell apart. Yeah. And about 2 weeks after that, I saw you guys play.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it's against. And Fritsch and Van Rooyen, I thought, because Fritsch seemed to have lost all football ability and confidence. Yeah. And I said, that's the worst key forward pairing in the comp. And Turner can't get a game ahead of those guys. Yeah. See, you're doing what I don't want to do. You're going back to the petties and the guys who what their ceiling is. Yeah. And with the...
Yeah, I think Melksham is a big win for us, right? Melksham brings a lot more.
That was a top 10 draft pick for us.
Yeah. Melksham, I've been, obviously, he's had his injuries. hopefully he gets on the park next week after that misdemeanor with
Oh, did he ironed someone out, did he?
yeah. It was accidental. It was McGovern that got concussed, right?
Right.
And he nudged him under the ball, but again, McGovern unfortunately went and hit into Petty,
Yeah.
right?
So it's
So
like
that
that
could
one
be
earlier. So
could be 3 weeks, right? Which would be
everything's
absolutely
3 weeks.
heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. But Milksham, he just brings so much excitement in terms of his ability to deliver the ball on both his left and right foot is absolutely elite. And he like even just watching the game last night, the way he set up Pickett, like he was on the flank and he managed to screw it back with would have been his wrong foot, and he like lace out to Pickett who kicked the goal. That's what we need, and he's really sort of changing our dimension of our forward line.
So it sounds to me
Calling a
like
spade a spade there, Dave.
I need to correct what I said before. Your whole forward line is not Pickett, it's Pickett and Melksham, which to me says premiership window closed.
Okay, okay.
Closed.
Okay. Look. Let's keep going. Let's keep
Tell me if I'm wrong.
no. Let's leave that one
All
alone.
right.
Premiership coaches. You've got Simpson and Longmire.
The green room.
The green
They're
room.
just auditioning for
Yeah.
gigs next year. Do you reckon your coach is nervous?
Let's leave my coach alone. Thank you very much.
Did you keep him?
Yes, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Despite all the controversy,
Yes,
bad
yes,
culture.
yes.
Okay.
Culture's a culture's a funny word, Dave. I
All
tell
right.
you.
So Simpson or Longmire,
Yeah.
both coaching next year, or only one?
For me, Longmire. Why I think Longmire is because, well, he knows how to develop players. I think there's just more in the bag for him. And also, he's obviously premiership coach like Simpson, but, he's been there, not just, from a premiership, he's been in the, grand final. He's been in the finals that many times. So he'd be perfect for coaching Tassie. Tassie Devils for me, for Longmire.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
that's when do they come in? Is it 2 years or three?
28, I think it is.
So
Yeah.
another. So this full season,
Yeah.
two more, and then
Yeah.
they come in.
Yeah.
So we've got two more
Yeah.
drafts
Yeah.
to make hay. Well, they'll probably
Absolutely.
maybe two,
'Cause they're
and then
going to-
they'll take them all.
They'll be pilfering left, right, and centre. Trust me, they're gonna.
And you feel like you're
enjoy it.
ready for that? Because then there'll be 2 years of no one getting any decent kids.
Yeah. I'm not
I feel
sure.
like we're getting ready for that.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys are still trying to keep that premiership window open,
Yeah.
and it might be time to refresh. Depending on I mean,
But
bad
Gawn
time
is
too. 'Cause
once in a generational player, right? So you've got to you've
you're
got
not
to
winning a
make.
flag in the next 2 years, mate.
Okay, look, let's move on. And I guess when it comes to the race for the flag, right? We talk about A grade teams, B grade and C grade teams, D grade. Where do you see A grades? Who are the A grades for you at the moment? I mean, we're at what? We're only at round.
I know, and it
Eight.
changes all the time because,
Yeah.
like, before last night, I would have had Collingwood and Brisbane
Yeah,
a little bit ahead of everyone else.
yeah.
You can't write Geelong off.
Uh,
Like, they're just,
but does it take someone like Dangerfield to not?
yeah, but they've got him.
Yeah,
They've got him, and
yeah,
the move forward worked.
Yeah.
And,
yeah,
and Blitzav, you can play everywhere. They're just,
yeah,
and three gun key forwards like Meyer and Close and Stengel just setting up
yeah.
guys, and Jeremy Cameron and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Brisbane in the
Definitely Brisbane.
conversation.
I'm really looking forward to tonight. Brisbane and Gold Coast. You know me, I like a good narrative. For me, the narrative for Gold Coast today is: have you grown up enough?
From a C to a
No, no,
B?
no, no. Forget about the A's, B's, and C's. Have you grown up enough to go into the big brother's backyard and say, "Oh, I know you just won the flag, this is our first year of really being good, but here's a little slap around the face,
Okay.
and we're just going to show you how to play footy on your home turf." I don't think they're quite ready for that. Like everyone's been saying, "Oh God, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming."
Yeah.
Sometime in the next year or two, for sure.
So
But
is bloody Haley's comment as
that's
well,
what's
right?
great about this. No, but that's what's great about this game. They win this today, then suddenly your A grade's out to. I've got the Bulldogs in there. I think Hawthorn still have to be in there. Geelong's in there. Collingwood, Brisbane, and after that,
Yeah.
I think GWS, Sydney, and Adelaide. Look, you could get it together, but we've got a comp where basically the same six teams are in the finals every
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Every year, Sydney's in the finals, Geelong's in the finals. So is this the year where you go, Sydney's not going to be in the finals anymore? Like, is Goulden that much of a loss, and Longmire, where they aren't? I mean, I don't know the result of today's match. They were 14 points up against
Yes.
GWS, and GWS. Is this the year where you go, that plan they had of always having top draft picks and then trade away a Shield for 2 first-round picks and trade away a Treloar and all those ones, but hold on to Tom Green and all that. I think the guys who've made them amazing for so long, your Hogans, Kellys, Ward, all those, Kiniglia, they're all coming to the point where if they're not in their last 2 years,
Yeah.
like, they're going to hit the wall at some point. And are the Callahans and those guys as good as all the guys who've always come through the Tom? They've always got a Tom Green coming, or see, I would say their Van Ruin is Cadman, right? They picked Cadman at pick 2, right? Around about the same time that Riley Philthorpe was taken, I think also pick 1 or 2 from Adelaide, and it was like with Reid, let's put some weight on their bodies, let's build them up, and Philthorpe suddenly looks like a giant of a man. Whereas Cadman's still, 6 possessions, 1 goal. He's not.
Yeah.
Without Jesse Hogan, that forward line looks very.
So you're saying that GWS is more of a B or a C to you?
I think the teams inside the 8
Yep.
are inside the 8 for a reason. There's a clear drop off to your team, my team, St Kilda. Who else? Port Adelaide.
Yeah. But to St Kilda's credit, I've never seen so much pressure from St Kilda in any game I've ever seen them play. Right? They were relentless, and the ability, and it's so important when it comes to being able to know when to stand off, when to actually tackle, when do you need 2 tackling, when do you have to just trust your other player to tackle, because once you tackle someone, they're not putting the ball lace out, because the pressure, errant kick, and it just goes down the other way, right?
Yeah.
They were fantastic, St Kilda.
Yeah, but
For me, they were the team of the round for me, St Kilda. Who was the team of the round for you?
I think you got to say Cats.
Cats.
I mean, they just everyone's talking about Collingwood and Brisbane, and they went, "Hello, remember us?
Remember us? Yeah.
No, I mean that game could have gone either way, and it was exciting and great, but I think that was them just throwing their hat back in the ring, and
don't forget about us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nice. Well, I think Dave, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. We've talked a number of topics, and love talking footy with you, and looking forward to catching up. Excellent. Thanks guys.